Hey my friends, welcome to Joystick. In this video, you will learn how to print all sub-arrays of an array. You will first learn the intuition and then we are going to implement the algorithm learned using Python programming language. So without further ado, let's move to the problem statement, which is given an integer array ARR. And let's say the elements in ARR are 1 to 3. You need to print all possible sub-arrays from this array. 1, 1 and 2, only 2, 1, 2 and 3 all, 2 and 3 and 3. I think the problem statement is clear to you, so now let's move towards solving it. We will solve this problem using recursion, but first we'll have to solve it in our head. Now if we start from the first element, which is 1 in this case, then we can simply print it and move to the next element, which is 2. But before we print 2, we should think of printing 1 and 2. And then we print 2. Likewise, if we now move to 3, then we should think of printing 1, 2, 3 first, and then we should think of printing 2 and 3, and finally we must print 3. So this is the basic intuition. But how do we code it? Let's say we are at element 2 and we denote it by I. Now the index of element 2 is 1. So we must start from index 0 and print all the elements till I, including the element at index I. So this will print 1, 2. Okay. I reiterate this logic by moving I to the third element, which is 3, which is index 2. So if the loop starts at index 0, then in the first iteration, 1, 2 and 3 will be printed. Then the loop moves to the second index. So now it's going to start from index 1. And from here again till I, it is going to print all the elements. So in the second iteration, 2 and 3 will be printed. Getting the idea already? This means we need to put another variable j, which we'll put at index 0, which is going to list all the elements of the different subarrays for us. Now let's do this again and now you'll understand this algorithm completely. We have two variables I and j now. So let me place both of them at index 0 for now, like this. Now we'll find out our first subarray. That is going to range from j to I. Now since they both point to the same index, which is 0, so we pick the first element at index 0, which is 1. And that becomes our first subarray. Now we move j further by 1, like this. So j points to index 1 and I is still pointing to index 0. But I is the end of the range and j is the starting of the range. This is the range of elements that gives us our subarrays. So starting point of the range cannot be greater than the end point of the range. So this is an indication that we need to move I to the next element and reset j to point to index 0. I now points to index 1 and j points to index 0. This is the starting point of the range and this is the end point of the range. So now the subarray that comes out becomes 1 and 2. We move j further now by 1. Now both I and j point to the same index. So another subarray comes out and it becomes 2. In the next iteration, j moves to index 2. And since j has again become greater than I, hence this is an indication that I has to move to the next index and j must reset to point to index 0. Now we are in another iteration. We have the starting point of the range and this is the end point of the range. So another subarray that comes out is 1, 2 and 3. Within this iteration, there is a nested iteration in which j moves to the next index and points to 1. So the subarray that comes out now becomes 2, 3. I hope you are understanding that there are two loops here. Now j again moves further and both are pointing to the same index 2. So the subarray that now comes out is 3, which happens to be the last subarray. And now j again moves one step further. J again becomes greater than I. So this is an indication that I moves one step to the right and j goes back to point to 0. But the moment I points to an index outside the bounds of this array, the function returns, means it is over. In this way, we get all the subarrays. Now, this is a very crude algorithm that we have developed in our head to get all the subarrays. But now let's implement it in a polished way using recursion in Python. Now we have our array. Let's call it ARR equals to, let's define its elements. So it will be 1, 2, and 3. And now let's write our function. So it will be def print all sub arrays. Okay. Now this function is going to accept certain parameters. So it will accept the array, which is ARR, the starting index, which is going to be j, and the ending index or the end index, which is going to be I. Now we just saw that when I points to an index that is out of the array, then the function should return. Here I pointed to 3, which is not here in the array. This index is not here in the array, but it becomes the length of the array. So we can write if I, we are going to use the comparison operator, then we'll use the len function to find the length of the array. So we are checking if I is equal to the length of the array ARR, then the function needs to return. All right. One thing we also learned during our intuition that whenever j becomes greater than I, we'll have to reset j to 0 and increment I by 1. So we write the condition if j is greater than I, then we make the function call again. So we are going to call the function again because we are implementing this algorithm using recursion. All right. But to this function, we are going to pass the array ARR. J will be passed as 0 and I will be passed as I plus 1. And finally, in the else part, we can print the sub array from j to I. So in Python, we can simply do it by writing print ARR within square brackets j colon I plus 1. So what we are doing here, we are using the slicing technique to print a subarray from this array ARR. Now once our subarray is printed and j is still less than or equal to I, then we need to increment the j by 1. We can do it using a loop. Like I told you, there were 2 loops working there before. But let's call the function again. After all, we are implementing the algorithm using recursion. So we'll call the function print all sub arrays, and as its parameters, we are going to pass the array ARR. The starting index will be j plus 1 because we are incrementing j by 1, and the end index will stay as I only. If you study these function calls closely, then you will figure out that it's the same algorithm we studied before, and these function calls will terminate here once I becomes equal to the length of the array, or logically speaking, there are no more elements left in the array for consideration. Let's call this function from here, so it will be print all sub arrays, and we are going to pass array as its first parameter. 0 will be the value of j and 0 will be the value of I, because we are starting from element 1 just like we did when we were studying the algorithm. Let's run this program now. And there you go. All the subarrays that can be formed from this particular array have been printed. Now let's add 4 to this array and test it again. And there you go again. It has printed all the correct subarrays for 1, 2, 3, and 4. The function print all subarrays generates all possible contiguous subarrays of the array ARR. Now the number of subarrays of an array of size n is n multiplied by n plus 1 by 2, which is approximately n square by 2. So the time complexity of this solution simplifies to order of n squared. And with this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed learning the Python program to print all subarrays of a given array using recursion. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye and take very good care of yourself.